Welcome to the Rushmore Show, where we're about to embark on a journey through the merry world of Santa Claus in pop culture.
Get ready to explore the Santas who've donned the iconic red suit and made us believe magic of the holiday season. Whether it's a classic Christmas movie, heartwarming commercials, or cartoons and parades.
From the memorable Santas who've graced our screens in timeless holiday films, to the jolly old Saint Nicks who've lifted up our hearts in cherished holiday ads. Wrap up your presents, subscribe to our channel, and prepare to revisit the Santas who have made us believe in the magic of Christmas, no matter where they've appeared.
Get ready to hold you on to your holiday cheer, because the Rushmore Show starts right now. This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top four and nothing more. Andy, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. It is time for our Rushmore of the big, jolly, fat man, Santa Claus. Apparently, our friends over at Geek Devotions thinks we're doing top four Satans. Not on this show. Wrong show. If you're here, we're about to do the top four pop culture Santa Clauses. If you've hung around long enough, you know, as we go through the list, jump down in the comments and let us know what your top four are. We have a fantastic guest with us today, and we are ending our second season, if this is the first time you're here, of the Rushmore Show. It's crazy. We're right around the corner from episode 100. Thank you guys for being here. Andy, tell us what you think about Santa Claus.
Hey, Santa Claus, it's synonymous with Christmas time. It's what you think of. And there are so many different Santas out there. It can be in movies, TV shows, video games, commercials. I mean, there's all over the place, right? They're everywhere. So we thought, hey, the Summit Squad wants to know what our favorite Santas are, right? And I actually want to know what everyone else's favorite Santas are. And it's just going to be a great day today. And like you said, we have actually two extra special guests today. Very, very excited to announce them here in just a minute, but it's going to be a great day. And
I understand why Santa likes this. This is preferred hat. This is just not working for me. But hey, but I do like his beard. Hey, yeah, let's get started, man. Let's get started. Let's get right down to business.
Let's get down to business.
It's your Rushmore of pop culture Santas. Let's get to it.
Ho, ho, ho.
Okay, people, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Santa's only Santa!
Oh, my God! All right, Rushmore Show, it is time for our pop culture Santas. Now, look, just kind of lay the groundwork out before we get started. When I'm talking about pop culture Santas, we're talking about movies, TV, advertising, wherever you see a Santa, who's your favorite? The real guy, the guy at the mall, the guy that came to church, whatever you think you can put it together, whatever your top four favorite Santas in history. And we have brought on two amazing guys.
Two wild and crazy guys.
They love the animated world, so I'm excited where they go with it. They spend a lot of time watching cartoons and animated movies. We're going to bring on our friends Drew and Jacob from the Celcast, our buddies from Culture Box. Welcome to the show, Celcast.
Howdy, guys.
I
can wave from the right side
here. All right, guys, we got you on here tonight. Obviously, you guys are festive. You got the tree rocking behind you. Mm-hmm. I think
I put my stockings up with care. A lot of people may not have seen the last episode you guys were on. This is their second time hanging out with us. We've hung out with you guys. Tell our fans who you are and why would you join us here at the show?
We are the Celcast, where we review animated movies and television shows, and it is Christmas time. We do review Christmas specials. Yeah, we like Christmas. Who doesn't like Christmas?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what you're filming right now. What y'all doing?
So right now, what we're doing, we are doing Christmas films or Christmas themes. The latest film we did this lovely movie right here. If I get it in the camera.
That's classic nostalgic right there, baby.
Yeah, Emmett Otters. And the next movie we'll be doing is The Star, which came out more recently.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't heard anything about it, but I'm really looking forward to that. And then we have, I think, one more movie we're going to do in the next day or so.
Yeah.
Right. But you'll have to wait and see that one.
I'm excited. We love
That's
Christmas.
fantastic. Hey, look, Santa's. In the back, we flipped a coin and we figured out that one of you were going to be the winner. So who won that coin toss? And that's Jacob. Seems like it's going to be.
There we go. All right, I feel snazzy.
That makes sense. I went first last time.
Yeah. So Jacob, how about? So you've been on the show before. Criteria wise, you just let us know, kind of in about 2 or 3 sentences, what you think, what you were thinking when you were putting together your list.
Putting this list together was fairly easy because there again, Santa, the myth, the lore, the legend of Santa Claus has been in my life ever since I was a toddler, and just by like movies and pop culture and art and that kind of thing. Ever since I'm an art guy, have been such a huge influence in my life. And definitely when you watch movies and you have annual movies throughout your life that have profound impact when it involves the Jolly Saint Nick, it be like, I was like, heck yeah, let's do this.
Let's go ahead, Jacob. We got your criteria. Let's start off our list with those rosy red cheeks with our Rosie. Okay, what are you going to go? Number 4, Lion in the Snow. Your number 4 Santa Claus in pop culture. What you got?
My first Santa going into my number 4 Rosie would be the OG himself, would be Saint Nicholas. The original Saint Nicholas, which a lot of the original basis of Saint Nicholas are what we come to know as Santa Claus based on. And my first thought was like the man who would go and give presents to the poor and children, the needy, and the whole bit. And the fact that the Council of Nicaea, he slapped a heretic.
I was wondering if you were going to bring that up.
I loved it. I love it so much. So you're going with Saint Nick, like the
Saint Nicholas,
where the original. I love that.
Yeah, the original.
Thinking that route, but I love that you went there. And I love all the pictures that
you put it on your list.
Yeah, I love the memes online of like actual Santa Claus punching some. Have you seen those?
Oh, yes,
absolutely. With the red everything. Yeah, so great pick, Saint Nick. What you think about that?
I like the fact that most of those drawings of Saint Nicholas make him look like Worf from Star Trek.
So I usually do some kind of some AI or some Google search, like just to get the blood flowing, to figure out like just this big list of something I can start choosing from. And that's the first one on the list that I put. And I was like, man, I wasn't even thinking about Saint Nick. So I had him down in the Benjamins waiting for a big, presentation afterwards. Like, oh, if I need somebody, he's in the bag. He's in the Santa's bag. But man, you took it. That's a great pick, Saint Nick, especially on our type show where, I mean, we are all about the real reason for the season. Even though we're talking about Santa, like, here's the deal, man. It's about Jesus, and Saint Nick was all about it, serving the poor, doing what he needed to do. It's a fantastic pick.
Way to start the list, Jacob. I love that pick. Saint Nick, gonna go there with the OG, like you said, the ho G. That didn't work as well as I thought it would. With
the ho G. That is so pitiful.
Oh my gosh! It was a good attempt, but it failed on a drum beat. It
worked here. It worked right here, and then as soon as it,
I get that.
I was just shot down. But look, we can only go up from here. That's all I'm thinking. So, Drew, we're going to move to you. Criteria. What are you thinking when it comes to your top 4 Santas. Before you make your pick, what were you thinking?
My criteria for this was I wanted it to be Holly, Holly and Jolly. Like he's saying, he's got to be the big man. He's got to be giving presents. Got to have the sleigh, the reindeer, the whole trappings. But at the same time, he can be maybe a little unconventional. In fact, I pretty much have 4 completely unconventional Santa Clauses on my list. So my first one is going to be a touch obscure. It is actually from a book, though I know that both Jacob and I have seen an adaptation of this over at a friend's house.
Ooh, now I'm curious.
It is from a satirist named Terry Pratchett. He has an entire series of books called Discworld.
Oh,
And there is a particular one where he satirizes all of Christmas.
oh my gosh, yes.
And that name of that book is Hogfather.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, the Hogfather is not my pick. No, it is Death pretending to be the
Oh my
Hogfather.
gosh.
He is it's such a perfect, granted, Death, he does a horrible job at being Santa Claus. The Hogfather, let's just be honest. But his heart's in the right place. It's one of my favorite versions of this because now, granted, you look at the guy. Sure, he more than likely this book was inspired by The Nightmare Before Christmas. No doubt about that, especially the look of the Grim Reaper dressed as Santa Claus.
Oh my gosh.
Basically. But it's just such a fun little story. Granted, it's more than just him playing Santa Claus. That book has so much other stuff going on in it. But that just those scenes with him trying his best to even just get the ho 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 down. So the laugh. So yeah.
I went through a little bit of a time where I was trying to get into Discworld a little bit. I watched a couple of the older show, and I was trying to read a few of the books, and I know about this quite a bit because I was kind of researching. Because when I was writing my book, which I still kind of am, I mean, Terry Pratchett's one of those that I was trying to glean off of, and so I do know the story quite a bit. It's quite an interesting world. Like, it's kind of interesting take on everything. You know, it's all on a turtleback and on on elephants and on. It's a weird thing, but I love this pick. That's awesome. That's a very obscure pick. Great job.
I have never heard of this, so that's Google.
One of the fun parts though of that book is that it is actually written like a made for TV Christmas special. They do their best to pull in references from all over the entire canon. Wow. So
that was called Hogfather?
Hogfather. It was like made in the 90s. He wrote it in the 90s. It's like book 15.
Not too long ago, right?
Yeah. He just passed I think it was 2016.
Yeah, 2017? I knew that long ago. I remember kind of over social media. But man, good pick. I love that. So, Andy, have you pulled it up? You see what we're doing?
Yeah, I definitely see the Nightmare Before Christmas kind of feel to it. It makes me think of, if anybody else was a metalhead like me, Eddie from Iron Maiden, is if he dressed up as Santa Claus, it kind of resembled that a little bit too. So,
man,
I think it's cool. I've literally never heard of it, but it sounds super cool. It looks really cool. So
just a fair warning, if you ever read those books, there are no chapters. It is from beginning to end.
That's good.
The Bible was supposed to be. So, I mean,
yeah, it's true.
There you go.
And Paul likes to do run-ons, a lot of them.
Tell me about
punctuation back then. Punctuation.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Let me just give you my criteria. It's it really is a lot like what you said there, Jacob and Drew. But for me, it was like I could have picked 4 perfect Santas, and I thought it would be a really boring show. But what I kind of went with is I have some in kind of like genres, I guess. I didn't really make the genres, but I was like trying to get 4 that were almost kind of completely different from each other that I really love. So that's kind of where we're going. Number one, I'm going with one very similar, it sounds like, to your pick. It's a guy that doesn't necessarily go by Santa Claus. He goes by Nicholas St. North, and I'm going with the Santa from Rise of the Guardians.
Oh, yeah.
And dude, the first time I saw this guy, I was like, bro, he's huge, tatted up, just all like he's the guardian of wonder, right? Yes. And I just loved it. I love the show. One of the reasons I loved it so much was I had to tuck it away for a long time because my oldest, this is kind of my oldest time frame of kind of going through watching, but she was terrified of the bad guy, right? And it's just like scared to death of him. But I really thought the characters were cool. I thought they could have had some other characters like Santa and the Easter Bunny in there. But man, I love the show. I thought it was kind of weird that Jack Frost was in it, but anyways, I'm going with Nicholas St. North, the Guardian of Wonder.
I love this pick. You took it from my Benjamins. I thought I was going to hold on to this one. I mean, I knew it would probably get taken. This is a good one. This is a very unique rendition, like take on Santa Claus in this one. I mean,
he looks like a lumberjack, dude. He's huge.
Yeah, this is not what you see.
I don't want to fight this guy.
What I will say though, too, with the Rise of the Guardians, like I liked I know we're talking about Santa specifically, but all those other characters were really cool in that. When the Tooth Fairy,
Sandman, Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy.
I thought that it would have been cool to have this to be a lengthier series and get a lot more out of these, which would have, I mean, who knows? But great pick. Cannot argue the pick for North. Good one. Any thoughts from the Celcast? I know you guys, this is kind of up your alley with animation, so.
Oh my God. Like, I absolutely love this film. We've already reviewed it. So if you want to go listen to our review of it, go check it out wherever you listen to us. I love because they're going Kirk be like, I'm the exact same way. Be like, he's a big burly guy. I'm trying to blank who voiced them. One of the Baldwin brothers.
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin voiced him, did this amazing job. Be like, you didn't even realize it's Alec Baldwin when you hear him. His performance. I love
how he's just like in plaid. He's like this, bro. He's like in the plaid.
Exactly.
He's got plaid. He's like, I'm trying to be that dude, man. I'm trying to be that dude. But anyways.
Yeah, he's a Russian,
yeah.
He's a Russian Santa, which is like big burly guy that just be like intimidating, like you said before, extremely intimidating, and just this guy who just wants to make sure kids are good and have a good time with Christmas.
Are naughty and nice.
Yeah. Man. That's a great pick.
Anyways, bro, there's my first one. My gosh, lost my train of thought. There's my Rosie, and just in time. So, Andy, you are up.
Right. Yeah. So, criteria-wise for me, there's so many different ones, and I love the route that we're already taking with these. My Santa had to actually be Santa, and what I mean by that is that there's a lot of references to Santa in movies where it's like somebody, they're not Santa, but they're dressed up as, and they're whatever. Like this person had to actually take the role and be Santa Claus in the movie.
So that would eliminate.
So that's what I'm thinking. It does eliminate quite a few heavy hitters, right? That'll probably get mentioned today. But again, all four of mine had to be Santa Claus. Okay. Benjamins will throw that criteria out of the window, and we're just going to go free for all. And that's what we're going to do at that point. So with that said, my Rosie coming in hot, man. This is no surprise. If you know me, I'm picking this movie, right? And my Rosie, my number 4 is Ed Asner from Elf. This to me, he's the perfect Santa Claus. I mean, rosy cheeks, right? Just everything. And what was really cool about him. You know, speaking specifically about your pick, Kirk, is that we've got one of the big, burly, tall, muscular. Ed Asner's like 5'6", maybe, like short, big, fat, jolly. Just when I think who looks closest to like these cartoon depictions of Santa Claus as a real person, Ed Asner comes pretty close to me. This is just what I think of with Santa Claus. Obviously, it goes without being said, this is my number one Christmas movie. If you haven't noticed, I mean, that's way back. That's episode 0 when we talked about that one. That was our kind of what do we call it? Our pilot episode. Yeah. And Elf is a fantastic movie. So Ed Asner, I mean, his voice, just everything about him, just screams Santa Claus.
Oh my God!
To me. So he's my Rosie. He's my number 4. That's my line in the snow for Santa.
What I will say is I love this pick. He's the older, kind of more frail looking Santa. I love his beard. It's like snow white.
Yeah.
It's like really snow white. I love his voice, like you said. Fun fact. It's really not a fun fact, but an interesting fact is Ed died on my birthday 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He did. So I remember that for whatever reason, but
he was in Up too.
He's a Benjamin of mine. He's a Benjamin of mine, and mainly because I kind of knew you were taking him. Mm-hmm. I expected you to take him. But yeah, he's a good pick.
Yeah. What you guys think about Ed Asner?
I mean, he's a good-looking Santa Claus.
Yeah,
for being honest,
I would agree there.
And plus, you gotta have to have like the foil for Will Ferrell in that film, and like the entire North Pole seems to be that foil. But I mean, if it's not a Bob Newhart, it's Ed Asner, if we're being honest. So yeah,
I was Bob Newhart in that the elf. I mean, if we did an elves, I don't know. He might even beat Buddy.
Mm-hmm. All I can say, I've never seen Elf.
No way.
I have no desire to watch Elf.
No,
but maybe at some point.
It is one of the few Will Ferrell movies I like.
Really?
Yes.
Because I've never been a really big fan of Will Ferrell as an actor.
I can understand that, but yeah, this is one of the few Will Ferrell films I like.
This hurts so much.
That hurts bad because it's like
a Rushmore.
I think Will might be your George. What? Huh? Maybe
he's
at least your league.
Yeah, he's there.
I mean, there are movies where I'm like, but to be honest, he's as a comedian, he's one of the best. But yeah, that's one of his best movies too.
It appears a wall has fallen between the Celcast and the Rushmore Show.
The wall is
neither one of us
come down.
Since neither one of us are fans of
and that's why we have folks on, because there's a difference. And that is something that I just know Andy's really passionate about. But yeah, that's our first row, and we are jumping in to our TJ Jazzy Jeff, and yeah, Jacob, you're up, ready to go.
All right, so for my number 3, I'm going with the legendary performance of Richard Attenborough from I believe it was the 1994 Miracle on 34th Street.
Yeah.
Where be like, it was just this, to me, be like, the original is a great movie. I watched it later in life, but I remember watching this movie. Now, granted, when I was a kid, watching like anything black and white, I was bored to tears. Like, give me something with color. I know it was weird. I was a child, so forgive me in that regard. But Richard Attenborough, be like, you think Jurassic Park? Welcome to Jurassic Park. And you have this performance of this old man who everyone thinks he's crazy as can be. And he turns to actually be Santa Claus. He beats a guy with a cane. And I'm just like, this is a performance. And I kept thinking, I was like, who personifies a live action version of Santa Claus other than my number 1? This actor, just perfect.
Yeah, I fumbled if he should be on my mountain or not, and I chose to make him slightly off, but only because there's so many others, and I love this pick. It's one of the best.
I know it's like going to be the number 1 Christmas movie on pretty much every list, I don't want black and white. Like I just don't, even today. Like give me the more updated. Give me some. I don't know, unless it's like Schindler's List. Good, that's black and white. I like that movie.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. It just to throw that out, Schindler's List was made in a time of colored movies.
Well, there is color in Schindler's List, though. There is.
But what I'm saying is that wasn't the.
Exactly.
A time where that wasn't around.
100%. Yeah. So I get it. As a kid, too, thinking of those things.
Both of them would be worthy. If somebody else picks the other one, they're both worthy. Both of them are on my minutes. So that's a huge one. And they were at my George for a minute. So yeah, because they're so awesome, both of them.
Great.
True.
I mean, he looks like Santa Claus. I mean, that's the one I grew up watching more than the original black and white. With the actress who I only remember as Matilda being the little girl in that one. Because I don't remember her actual name.
Correct. And I don't know anything else that she was in.
She was in a couple of things in that time, but that's the main thing I know she's in. It was the movie Matilda. But anyway.
Mara Wilson.
Yeah, Mara Wilson. That's her name.
And
but that was
she was in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, she's the little girl in that one.
Yeah,
but Richard Attenborough as Santa Claus in Miracle on that color version of Miracle on 34th Street is
great.
A very well done version. I think I might prefer the original movie.
See,
but I tend to enjoy older films. That's just me.
Yeah.
I would just say this. I thought I would watch the latter version more often. I feel the original is the OG, the dude. And if I'm going by picks. And that was one of the reasons I didn't pick them, because I was going to go that route. And I'm like, I never watched that show, but I just know it's that good. So
Fun fact, Mara Wilson was also in Thomas and the Magic Railroad from
I saw that.
In case you remember watching that movie.
Another film with Alec Baldwin.
Oh.
Yeah. So
all right, Drew, you're up, man.
Okay, so I had to look this up since we kind of already have talked about this, because I'm gonna have to crush more with Nolan St. North. Of Legend of the Guardians.
Oh.
That was my number 3. And fun fact, we reviewed Legends of the Guardians not on Christmas.
No.
But we did it in June 12th of 2022. So if you're looking for
not even on Easter or
not even Easter. We just did it randomly in the summer.
You didn't pick a holiday at all.
We didn't pick any holiday at all. I guess we were there for the Tooth Fairy. I don't know.
You lose your teeth in June.
That cross all the works.
Yeah. We were thinking
you can lose your
cold
teeth.
thoughts because it was a hot summer.
It's a good old day.
Very true.
Right. But yeah, honestly, this is like the most
OP.
I can't think of the word. He's a hardcore Santa. That's the best way I know how to put it. He's not the kind of Santa Claus you expect just to be giving out presents. He'll go and punch a rabbit if he has to. Or punch a smog monster, whatever that guy was. I can't remember who the villain of that movie is right now, but
I keep trying to think of his name, but
he could kick some tail, and I appreciate that from a Santa Claus that can kick some tail.
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a few that may be mentioned today. So he's more closely related to possibly Saint Nick at Council of Nicaea. Like he would have been the guy that would have, absolutely punched some heretics. So I love that. Great pick.
I mean, that's a great pick. I mean, I have to agree because I chose it.
But he likes it more than you. It's his number 3, not his number 4.
He does like it more than me, and congratulations.
It's just that it kind of worked out. A lot of these are kind of at the same level, so
I get that.
You just kind of have to shake the stack and see where things fall.
Sure. Yep. Perfect. All right, then I guess Kirk, we'll move to you since we've hit on everything we can for.
All right. Well, look, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with a Santa that has kind of transcended a few years. I would say came out probably 25 years ago and is still putting stuff out. I'm going with Tim Allen's The Santa Claus. He's got a bunch of stuff, and now he's got the new show that just came out, and which I'm kind of on the fence about. I'm like, he kind of looks like he's still the fake Santa Claus from when he was the fake one in 3, but I don't know. But there's 2 other new Santa
You mean the
Clauses
robotic
there,
one and the second one?
Third one.
Yeah.
I thought the robotic one was in the second.
Yeah. So, anyways, I love this. I love the idea of this. When movies come out, and they always try to tell the story of Santa Claus in a different way, just to, because we all know the story, but they always try to tell it a different way so that we can get more, viewers, more money, more whatever. And having the original Santa fall off and him put the jacket on, I just thought that was a great thing. And putting an E after the fun fact, I didn't even realize there was an E at the end of it for several years. Like, it's just, I just didn't pay attention. Like, I knew it was a Santa Claus, but not in the title. I don't know. Just didn't ever pay attention to it. But it's just a cool spin on the Christmas Saint Nick story. So, and then just following it along, he's been around a while. I think it's one of the best. When I think of Santa Claus, it's one of the originals that I go to. It's perfect for me. So I'm going to go with Tim Allen, man.
Fun fact, I still put the E every time I write Claus because I forget it doesn't have it.
Exactly.
Nice.
That's fun.
Nice.
But yeah, this was like the second or third film I actually ever saw in a theater. Was the first Santa Claus. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, this is Scott
full-time Taylor, baby.
Scott Calvin is like, he was my Santa Claus for a while, but he didn't end up on my. He was in my Benjamins, but he didn't end up on my list.
Perfect. Jacob, do you have anything?
Probably one of my favorite performances of all time, but I'll get there later.
Ooh. Nice. All right, well, we'll move right along, and Andy, it's your turn. It is your TJ Jazzy Jeff.
So TJ Jazzy Jeff for me. I'm gonna think a little bit outside of the box on this. I'm not gonna go too far outside the box, but when I think Santa and I think Christmas season, obviously it's a big commercial season, right, as far as shopping and just all that kind of stuff that happens. And I love what you're holding in your hand right now, because my TJ Jazzy Jeff is the Coca-Cola Santa Claus. That is a classic.
Nice.
When I think like just the lore of Christmas season and the commercials and the printed ads and everything. Obviously, a lot of the stuff it's been around for a long time. This is one of the and the cool thing about it is it's not like a Coke Santa. It's just Santa, right? Mm-hmm. But he's holding Coke bottles, rosy cheeks. It's always smiling. He's always in different, just pictures, whatever things that are happening there. So it's always going to be on my list. My grandparents actually I don't know if they intentionally collected stuff, but they always had Coca-Cola memorabilia kind of around the house. And there was a lot of Santa Clauses, for Christmas, they would put these things out and it was like porcelain Santa Claus, but it was a Coke one, right? Or things like that. It's just classic merchandise, classic advertising. When I think of that, I think of him, standing with the snow around, drinking a Coke, and it just gets you ready for the season. So that's my TJ Jazzy Jeff, is the Santa from the Coca-Cola advertisements. What you guys think about that?
Look, so let me jump. This was on my mountain until you just said it. So listen, I'm literally. I have this one and 2 others that I'm like, okay, which one I'm going to pick? And if somebody picks it before me, I had it in my mind, I was going to take it off and move the other one in. But so this is a Benjamin for me. Here's the thing. My mom collected Coke stuff. I've been holding them for a reason, right? And so, but the reality is my mom collected Coke stuff. And she collected Santa Claus stuff. We had a whole Santa Claus tree. The whole tree was nothing but 500 Santa Clauses. I'm pretty sure her infatuation with Santa came from the whole advertising program from Coke. I mean, I would put the two together, but it is a big deal. Yeah, and he is what I pretty much envision as a Santa Claus. Yeah. That isn't wearing Santa Claus gear, because 90% of the time he's always in these overalls like this picture, and it's just kind of like on his day off he's having a Coke. I love it. So yeah, good pick, great pick.
This one was in my Benjamins.
Oh yeah, there we go.
The only reason it didn't make it on the list is because I was really trying to think. I want some more unconventional ones, and the thing is, you can't get more conventional Santa Claus than the Coca-Cola Santa, especially since, from my understanding, this solidified what the Santa Claus looked like in the minds of many people in America when this advertising campaign came out, to the point where they even used the illustrations from that marketing campaign in the opening sequence of Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yeah,
they did.
So,
which I just watched that movie, by the way.
Film. But I Coca-Cola Santa is a classic. Like you, my mom collects Coca-Cola stuff. She has a Coca-Cola tree, full of Coca-Cola ornaments.
Oh, that's even cooler.
And she's got a lot of other collections of Coca-Cola stuff that she's collected over the years. I think Kermit the Frog is the only other thing she collects that rivals Coca-Cola in what she has. But Coca-Cola Santa Claus is just perfect. The only thing more indicative of Coca-Cola than Santa Claus is the polar bears. So
very true. Yeah, I was in the exact same grouping that Drew said. Be like that particular Santa was in my Benjamins, and it's like, just so iconic. Be like, anytime you watch TV, or be like me growing up, be like watching football on the weekends, and like during the Christmas season, be like that Santa would show up with the polar bears. And that's so iconic in my childhood memory.
All right. Well, we ended our first half of the mountain with a nice, cool Coke. And that brings us right into our refreshments, our halfway moment, our commercial break, right? It's a commercial way to lead it off. So we're halfway through the mountain. It's time for a commercial break. It's time to get a little Santa Claus action from a commercial. We will see you guys in 2 and 2.
Christmas is near, and I am delighted that so many good boys and girls are calling my special number to hear my exciting Christmas stories.
There's a new story every day, and you'll receive a free gift from Santa and me for calling.
Christmas is a magic time for us all. Call me, and we'll share the magic together. Call 1-900-909-8888. Each call costs $2 for the first minute and 45 cents for each extra minute. Be sure that your parents give you permission. Christmas is near, and so am I.
Welcome back, Summit Squad. We are halfway through our mountain. You just enjoyed a nice commercial break. Maybe you got a nice, cool Coca-Cola to just cleanse your palate to get ready for this second half of the mountain. But before we do that, we are going to shout out one of our friends from the Culture Box. Kirk, who are we talking about today?
And we're going to talk about playing reindeer games with strangers. We're going to talk about playing games with strangers. Yes, it's a family-friendly actual play podcast where indie voice actors get together and play tabletop role-playing games. I wonder if they do a Christmas version. That'd be pretty cool. You can listen to
a Christmas special
unfold as they roll the dice, slay monsters, and have fun, all at playinggameswithstrangers.com.
Nice. Playing reindeer games with Dancer. And
cool movie, by the way. Cool movie. Reindeer games.
Reindeer games. Yeah, that's it.
As long as they don't get run over by a reindeer.
Yeah. Well,
right, as long as one of them's a grandma.
We are on the way to the North Pole. We have crossed over a few hills on the way, and we're climbing up that mountain. We are at link number 2. Drew Jacob's up first. And Jacob, what you got?
All right, so for my number 2, my link would be I watched this movie when it first came out. There again, it was an adaptation of a very classic movie, and I am going with Father Christmas from the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Now, the character only shows up for a couple of minutes in the movie and the book. And I love the performance of James Kosman. I might be mispronouncing his name, but just bear with me.
Yeah.
I love that performance. He there again. The way it's shot, the way this movie is shot, and the way it'd be like we are so used to the White Queen, the White Witch to come in through the exact same with the sleigh, and our characters are so terrified. Oh my gosh, she's coming! And it turns out to be Father Christmas, and he's giving them the gifts they need, not be like, oh, a dolly or this or this, giving them the weapons they need to defeat her. And it's this kind of a mix of be like, I'm ready for battle, but at the same time, I've got a gentleness to me. And just be like the way he's preparing the children to go to war. And these are like children who have been pulled out of the real world into the world of Narnia, and they're having to come to the fence of the world they don't even know. And it's just the wonderful line in which he leaves with,
"Long live Aslan, and Merry Christmas."
And it's just like this wonderful analogy of like you have the modern take on Santa, or not a modern take, because this book was written years ago. And there again, I didn't read the book before I watched the movie, and so I was so surprised with it. And after that, I want to read the book and be like, it's an amazing book. Highly recommend if you've never read the Chronicles of Narnia. But that performance was so well done. Even though it's very short, it gives our characters the motivation, the drive they need to continue into their story. And I was thinking about when I was trying to put this list together, and I was like, oh, that movie. Yeah, that's definitely a good example of a really wonderful Santa.
I love this pick. He very much gives me kind of this Dumbledore or Hagrid, Harry Potter beard, just not as well kempt as some of the Santas maybe that you would see. I mean, his outfit was fun, but this is a good pick. When I'm thinking of Santas, my mind didn't go here too. So that's 2 out of yours that have thrown me for a loop. So Kurt, I know you are a big fan of everything Narnia. So
fan of this, and I'm going to be honest, that's 2 of my Benjamins I thought I had tucked away. Like, nice. I wanted this one on the mountain, but I should have known my audience better, my hosts, because those were 2 that I was like, yeah, I'm going to boom. So all of these, I've only got a few more picks. All my guys might get picked here. I'm falling off the wayside. But that one of the reasons it didn't make my full mountain was exactly what you said. There's only a very small blip. I love the series, love the movie. I've only read The Magician's Nephew. I haven't read them all.
Really?
I watched the movies first. I tried reading the books, and I love The Magician's Nephew. I just haven't jumped into the others. I got it right up here. I've never finished it. So reading's not my forte, but I try. So one of the reasons my book isn't finished, but yeah, I love Narnia. It's the main thing I've based my actual book off of. So nice. Is that style. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Drew, you got 20 seconds. What you think about this pick, man?
Oh, you might as well reset the timer. Because I'm going to have to crush more on this. Woo! I had no idea he was going to pick this, and literally this was my number 2 this entire time. Like I said, I was trying to pick unconventional Santa Clauses. And you're thinking, Father Christmas, how is he unconventional? He is giving away a sword, a horn, and a cordial full of alcohol to a little girl. It's a healing cordial, but still.
Yes.
These are not the normal gifts that you think of with Santa Claus giving when he's out giving gifts, but these are the things that they needed at the time. So yeah, I mean, it's Father Christmas, for crying out loud. How can you get more Santa Claus than that? Even though I didn't pick him as my number one.
Nice.
So,
Now I will say this: I don't know,
George.
I don't know how close he is explained, I guess, in the book. Like, does the book explain him? But I love the design of him in the movie. Right? It's really just intriguing.
It kind of explains him in the book, but you're supposed to think that this is the UK's version of Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So
right. So like, this is what I imagine from the book, and it's kind of like in the robe type
pretty much
thing.
Yeah.
And that's a little different than what is in the movie. He's kind of more Renaissance, if you will.
Yeah.
And there he is. Boom. And I just love the style. It's cool pick. Cool pick.
Nice.
Man.
Nice. Way to go. Looks
So,
little Rushmore action right there. Kirk, you gonna 3-time it? Where are you going for your link?
I am not. Like I said, this is definitely on my Benjamins and have now been erased, because there's two that I have left for sure. Bouncing with that with the pick. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Santa Claus that ends the Macy's Day Parade. I am very pro Macy's Day Parade. We were talking about on your show, Drew and Jacob, Emmett Otter, right? And one of the things that I did every year on Thanksgiving was watch Emmett Otter as a little boy. That's why it was so nostalgic to me. And it usually came on maybe a couple hours later than the end of the Macy's Day Parade. So to me, Christmas season started as soon as that parade was over. We are eating in the Christmas season as Thanksgiving, and that's when we start planning and start looking at presents. And it's said that Santa starts the season. Now, I mean, that is marketing and all that, but it was something as a kid I had to watch it and wait, because I knew that was the beginning of the year. And my wife and kids never really watched it. I always turn it on, and they're like, "What are you watching?" And they're like, "Blah." Well, the last like 2 or 3 years, COVID-ish or whatever, they've actually sat and watched it with me, and they enjoy it. It's kind of becoming a tradition on Thanksgiving for us. But the Macy's Day Santa Claus.
I think it's fitting to be here. This is kind of that, ushering in. It's now Christmas time. That's the whole. It's at the end of the parade. It's everything. But for me, we definitely watch it. But I, growing up in New Orleans, I was always like, why would I go to a parade where they don't throw anything? Like,
that's kind of how my wife was. Yeah.
What's happening here? Like, we just look at things that go by. This is weird. But
there's a commercial. What?
It's just one big commercial. It's just a giant advertisement.
It is a giant advertisement.
That's all it is. But I do like the ones, the balloons and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff is, I mean, just it's even gotten, I feel like, cooler. I don't know, we're talking about Santa, but just the parade in general. Like, it's gotten even bigger every year. Like, it's like, what can we now do this year that's even bigger than last year? And I think there was a Bluey balloon this year, which was really cool. I'm a big fan of Bluey, that cartoon.
I love how they always say how much it weighs and how many people are holding.
True.
Yeah. And then the float shows up and they're like, and we're going to sing this song from, and somebody totally random just walks out of the float of the Ninja Turtles and starts saying, like, Patti LaBelle with the Ninja Turtles.
Miguel Carbonara from Disney's. What? Who is this? Who is this person?
So I don't watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade that often, but the one year I did was when the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends float from Cartoon Network rickrolled everyone with Rick Astley.
Oh.
People, let me tell you about him. He's so much fun.
We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I.
Now, wait, I will say this, and this isn't like in my defense, this is just how I do it. I always have it on in the background. I don't sit and like watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's on while we're cooking and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, who's on? What's that? Is it almost Santa there yet? And so, yeah, it's just a part of that day. So had to have that one on my mountain. And yep, you're up, Andrew.
All right,
Andy.
Yeah, I mean, like, here we go. The top two Santas that there are for me. And Kirk, I'm Crushmoreing with you. I'm going to go with Scott Calvin from the Santa Claus. I mean, this is just one of the greatest. And here's the thing: I know people are going to hate on Santa Claus 3. They're gonna maybe not a big fan of the new series. I freaking love all of it. I don't even care. I mean, nothing is as good as the Santa Claus, like the original. I get that. I'm 100% on board with you with that. But I will watch all of them. I love Tim Allen. I love almost everything that he does. He's just a great actor. I love the scene, the classic scene from the Santa Claus, which is when he's going, he looks in the mirror and the beard just grows right there. Like, that's an iconic scene from the movie.
Can I just share something about that? Yeah. One of the things I wanted to say earlier and I forgot, and I just remembered, is not only is Tim Allen a perfect Santa Claus, but I think she is an amazing Mrs. Santa Claus.
Yeah, absolutely.
When she's older, I can't even think of her name, but she was also in my intro. That's what made me think about it. But I think, I just think that's an awesome couple together.
The concept of the movie about somebody like happening to take over the role of Santa Claus and then going away and like seeing. So every time that we kind of got a glimpse of what the North Pole and like the workshop looked like, it was always like some log cabin up there in the middle, or whatever. But this was like so different, right? It was like a tiny little house, and everyone's it's like what we see in the Elf, right? Like that's what we think of the North Pole and the Elves workshop. But this thing was like state of the art. It was run. It was just like this military operation that they had going on.
Huge city.
It was amazing. I just always remember being like, I want to go there. I want to be there. And then obviously on top of that, just the Santa Claus in there, like Tim Allen's, rendition of Santa Claus is one of the most iconic to me. So that's where I'm going to go for my link.
I'm glad you did that. And that makes
makes
Miss Retro Rewind Ashley happy because she said it better be on our list.
It's there for sure.
It was.
So we are at the top of the mountain. We're at the North Pole.
We're at the top of the mountain.
The North Pole.
All right, you're up. The George or the Nick.
The Nick. The Nick. The top of the Nicks. So hold my eggnog in this one. I'm going to Rushmore again with the Santa Claus. Because it is the most amazing film ever.
Yes.
That is my number one. That is the top of the mountain. That was the film that there again, my family loved Home Improvement, Tim Allen, the entire bit. So when this movie came out, my dad had to go get it on VHS. Yes, I'm that old. So we watched it every year. We watched the second one, watched the third one, didn't like the third one. The third one wasn't that good. But overall, I loved the performance. Like Tim Allen just kills it in this. He's the reluctant Santa Claus. Is like, no, this isn't real. Like one of you guys just said, when he's clean shaven and it magically comes back, be like, yep, I'm in big trouble. Yep. And it's just he.
One of my favorite parts is when he like gains weight and he keeps trying to lose it. He's running.
It's so good.
And they're like, Scott, what's going on? And he's like, I don't know. And he's like showing up to work all fat.
Yeah. A babe. A really big babe.
Got a beard. And they're like, what the heck is going on?
It's so good. It's such a good classic movie.
Well written.
Yeah. Well written, well done, well executed. And you just have all these great performances throughout the entire film that just, cascade into just almost the perfect film of a Christmas movie. Now, granted, we were talking about movies that were you like your favorite Christmas film. I'll talk about something else, but we're here to talk about Santa.
Yeah, and that's a good point. This movie is not on my Rushmore of movies. No, none of them are. But I love them, and I watch them every year. And it's on my docket yet. I have got my list. I'm about 7 in so far, and it's coming soon. But I want to watch it just so I can get the movies or the TV show or the new ones or whatever.
This Justice for the Santa Claus 3, Martin Short as Jack Frost. Come on, man. You got to love it. It's so good.
I love Martin Short. I just didn't like Jack Frost.
You love it. Am I right?
I love Martin Short.
Fair. Now, great. I haven't seen that film since I was a kid, so you never know.
Tim Allen and
it's a decent film. It's worth the Christmas nostalgia. You only watch it once a year.
Watch it
with your kids, whatever.
I will say though, it's not as good as the other Tim Allen and Martin Short movie, Jungle to Jungle, which is a fantastic
dude. That's a good movie.
We watched it the other day, actually, believe it or not.
Did you?
I totally blanked and forgot about this movie, and it's so good. Anyway.
It is good. It is a good movie.
That's not Santa Claus, though. So,
all right. So, Drew, how are you finishing your mountain off?
Submitted for your approval. This is Mr. Henry Corwin, normally unemployed, who once a year takes the lead role in the uniquely popular American institution, that of the department store Santa Claus, and a road company version of The Night Before Christmas. But in just a moment, Mr. Henry Corwin, ersatz Santa Claus, will enter a strange kind of North Pole, which is one part the wondrous spirit of Christmas and one part the magic that can only be found in the Twilight Zone. Yeah, I'm going with the original, the Henry Corwin from the original Twilight Zone episode, The Night of the Meek. Yes, it's in black and white. Jacob, you'll just have to watch it anyway. There is a color version, but I don't know if that one's any good. But this is just I went with, as y'all know, I went with unconventional Santa Clauses. This guy is a drunk for like half of this episode, but he's drunk because he's so upset with the way the world is. And just for one night, he wants to actually be Santa Claus. And then he finds an empty sack, a sack full of, well, when everyone else pulls stuff out of it, it's like empty soup cans and one very angry cat. But when he pulls stuff out of it, it's what people are wanting for Christmas. Doesn't matter how crazy or strange it is, he has it. And for that one night, he has the best gift he could have, was just giving presents away. And then, because this is a Twilight Zone episode, there is a twist at the end. After he's done handing all these presents out, he is walking down the street and passes a sleigh. Yeah. And at first he's thinking, I must still be drunk. He kind of has that look on his face. But it works until the little elf pops out and says,
"We've been waiting quite a while for you, Santa Claus."
It's just such a great episode, and he is what Santa Claus should be. It's whenever you see giving presents, that's kind of what you want. Just giving presents just for the sake of giving stuff away.
This is a cool pick, man. Kudos to you, because I will say you definitely held true to your criteria. You're going unconventional. I was not thinking this route at all. So good pick.
If you've never seen it, you really ought to go find that episode. I watched it on Paramount Plus. But when we were getting ready, when I was making my list, I actually went back and rewatched this episode to make sure I was right in thinking this was good.
We brought this up a couple weeks back. Twilight Zone, when I was in the 80s, right? So I was a young fella in the 80s. That song scared the crud out of me. When it came on, bro, I'm like, turn that off. We are not watching that. And so I haven't watched a ton of it. I just haven't. But yeah, I always love the twists that always come, and that's funny. That hearing, that Santa was actually drunk. Didn't know who he was. That's pretty good. That's pretty good stuff.
Nice pick, man.
Well,
Yeah.
my friends, we are to my George, and I am going pretty unconventional, right? And I guess I thought it might be potential to crush with you, Andy, but you said you were going to pick all people that were actual Santas. And I don't think this is actual Santa.
You sit on a throne of lies.
But I'm going with Saint Mick. Mick Foley from the WWE every single year would come out, along with several other wrestlers that have done this, but Mick Foley is the best. Saint Mick. Go back and watch. If you're a wrestling fan, all you guys, we've had wrestling on before, but so there's several people that watch. Mick does it the best. John Cena's done it. Hulk Hogan's done it. Stone Cold did it. There are several movies that actually branched off of this that I'm surprised I don't know. Andy, you might mention one, but there are several movies of wrestlers playing Santa. But the best of all is Mick. And Mick Foley, he dresses the part. He gives out presents. He fits the whole thing. He's just a great character in the WWE universe. I'm going with Saint Mick.
Oh, that's a great pick. So I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised because I know how much you love Mankind, Mick Foley, and wrestling with Christmas combined. So that's definitely a great pick. But I'm 100% blanked on this.
Just for all the folks out there that haven't seen it yet. But there's the old autograph and me with Saint Mick.
There he is. There he is.
Nice.
You guys know anything about this one?
I don't watch wrestling.
Okay.
I've smelled what The Rock is cooking, and I know pretty much everyone is John Cena. But that's about all I know.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of wrestling, probably like in the early aughts of the 2000s. I never saw anything, Mick ever did. I think he popped in every once in a while, but that's about the stint of my knowledge. I know the new a new wrestling film's coming out. What is that movie called? Iron Claw.
Yeah. I'm excited
that was coming out. That looks interesting. Even though I have no idea who these people were.
I know Andre the Giant. That's the only other one I know.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Well, if
That's
you
cool.
like to be educated, if you go back a little while, we did a whole month of wrestling. So go back watch those episodes. We talked about plenty.
Or without the beard.
Yeah, just the goatee. That's a good pick, man. I'm surprised, but not surprised. So way to go there.
Well, I was going to try and pick a couple non-conventionals, but I had to. I was going to throw them in there. But go ahead, Andy.
I just don't understand how this guy he hasn't been picked. I don't.
Well,
this is the most iconic for me.
Okay,
and
go ahead.
My number one. It's kind of multiple, right? Because it would happen to be in multiple different shots right here. But I'm going to go with the classic claymation Rankin Bass Santa. Give me him as my number one. This is what I think of when I think Christmas.
Fred Astaire, baby.
Classic claymation, burl eyes, the whole nine, everything that goes with this, and the Santa Claus. Now you get a couple different renditions of it. You got young Saint Nick, right? You've got the young one,
which is Fred Astaire, and then you got the older one, which is Burl Ives.
Yeah, and you got the older one, Burl Ives, and just this idea of Santa Claus from this. I mean, it takes in everything. It's the classic story, right? It's also this classic animation and everything. If you go way back to when we were with Retro Rewind the first time, we talked about our Christmas specials, and this I think was on everybody's list. Some form of Rankin Bass something was mentioned the whole time, and then we were on their show talking about Rudolph, right? And how much of a jerk Santa Claus was in Rudolph. But that's a different story. This is the most iconic, the number one. When I think, Christmas doesn't happen if I'm not watching these classics. And
again, this is on a short list of my Benjamins, and I just knew somebody was going to pick it. I mean, so I was trying to pick things that not everybody was going to pick, but things that so that I could get some of the stuff out that I wanted. My Benjamins are going to be tough, but this is a fantastic pick. I mean, to me, this was our childhood. When I say our, anybody who is born from the 70s to early 90s, this was it was on every time. Boom, boom, boom. You watched 5 or 6 of them. You watched Frosty. It was like every Thursday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, whatever. Like, which one's on tonight? Which one's on tonight? And then and that Santa was modeled after a lot of things. So it's perfect.
As classic and as old as it was, it still holds up today. I mean, the fact that my kids will still watch this and love it, right? You know, and not a lot of things from that time are going to hold up to kids in this generation today. And it just did. So it's just a fantastic, it's great. What do you guys?
You know what else is really good about the Rankin and Bass specials were that's what they were. They were specials. They were only anywhere from 20 to 35 minutes, probably tops. And you could watch that eating dinner or whatever, or sitting around and not have to invest a ton of time. It was a part of that. And our kids nowadays probably need one of those because they can't go 5 minutes without changing the channel. So that's a big deal.
My last comment, and I'm going to get Celcast thoughts on this. Elf brings a lot of that back in where Buddy's that claymation and the Frost.
Hi, buddy.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
Celcast, Jacob, Drew, Rankin and Bass. You guys fans?
Oh, absolutely. Rankin and Bass was one of those things like you guys said, it comes on every Christmas. Like we've already done Rudolph.
We did Rudolph. We need to be putting some more on there, but we just hadn't.
Exactly. Be like, those are classic, iconic shows. Our shorts actually that led to so much more that Rankin Bass did, including one of my favorite shows is Thundercats.
So, fun fact: the main thing I know the Frostmiser theme song from is not that special. In fact, I have not seen that special yet. The thing I know it from is Batman and Robin.
I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow. I'm Mr. Icicle. I'm Mr. Ten Below. Ding, ding! Call me Snow Miser. Whatever I touch turns to snow in my clutch. Come on, sing!
when they're singing that in Mr. Freeze's snow cone palace or whatever it was.
Oh my God.
That's where I know that song from.
The greatest Batman movie ever.
I mean, yeah,
I enjoy that one, but not for the reasons I think they want me to.
Right.
So I don't know why I watched it. Maybe DC back or whatever. And I just remembered it being the worst movie ever. And when I watched it, I enjoyed it so much. I had so much fun.
Yeah, it's just such a fun movie.
Agreed.
It's not Dark Knight. It's definitely not the Batman.
No.
It's not this gritty, dark.
I mean, it's not great cinema, right? But it's fun cinema.
But I'm not watching it for that.
Same reason I like Batman.
They should be fun.
Yeah. Same reason I like Batman 66.
Just campy goodness.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking about Batman. We're talking about Santa.
Bruce Wayne as Santa would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would like Alfred.
Santa Batman.
Santa Batman.
As Santa.
Poking out of the hat.
Bat Claus.
Bat Claus.
Santa Bat. Santa Bat.
Santa Bat. Here he comes, Santa Bat.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, it's about that time to bring forth the rhythm and the rhyme. We are dropping them like dimes. Let's go. It is time for All About the Benjamins. A little P. Diddy coming at you. We'll be right back. All right, guys, back at All About the Benjamins. You've been here long enough. By this time, you should have already put your comments in. Here's our honorable mentions. These are the ones that we think should make a mountain or your mountain. We're trying to guess what's left. So we're going to go in the same order. We cannot pick Santa that has already been picked, and we're picking all new guys. So here we go. And Jacob, you told us in the beginning you didn't have that many to start. We're coming off the top of your head. What's the best one that hadn't been mentioned? Go.
The one that I think of there again, I am a comic artist. I love comic art. And so it's a more recent adaptation of the Santa Claus story. It's coming from Boom Studios called Claus, and it's done by Dan Moore, who's a fantastic artist, who's a new upcoming artist from DC, and Grant Morrison. Yeah, it's been written by Grant Morrison. It was a mini run that came through. I didn't get a chance to read it. I want to pick up the hardback of this thing because it looks so good, because it kind of goes with this idea of like Santa Claus is be like, what does Santa Claus do in the middle, like when he's not being jolly?
All right, I have to look into that one.
You're up.
So here's the thing. I like bad movies.
Oh.
So of course I like things such as Mystery Science Theater 3000. And they did a movie one time called Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Yes!
And so my pick from that is actually going to be Droppo.
Nice pick. I love Mystery Science Theater. Man, that's
Andy has thrown... So, look, Andy has thrown that out several times over the last 2 years. And wanting to really talk about that. This is a huge blind spot for me, except the little bit of a special that Netflix did for not long, whatever. But hey, I'm going to jump in, and before it's taken, Andy, because I have a feeling you're going to get this one down the road if I leave it. I'm taking Kurt Russell in Christmas Chronicles, and I think it's one of the best new Santa Clauses out there. And that's an ode to you, Randy, if you're watching, because that would be his George.
Yeah,
sure.
This is a good pick. I like the look. I mean, he might be the most handsome Santa that I've ever seen. I am going to go off the rails.
Oh, goodness.
Actually, not too bad. But with this one, for sure. If you guys know, if you've been here with the Rushmore Show long enough, you know that I've been a big fan of collecting the N64 games. And we did mention that there's not very many Christmas games, but one of the most expensive games that you can get for the N64 now as a collector is from Clay Fighter. So my pick is Sumo Santa from Clay Fighter 63 1/3. Dude, Sumo Santa is...
Bro, I could have had him on there. You were trying to keep that secret, huh?
Yeah, that's why I didn't tell you. He punches you with his belly, like he picks his belly up, and like it's gross and ridiculous, but it's amazing. So Sumo Santa is from Clay Fighter. That's going to be my first Benjamin. And since I get 2 picks, because we're going to go snake it back around, my next one is going to be, again, because now this Benjamin doesn't have to follow my same criteria as my Mount Rushmore did. Okay, so my next one is not actually Santa, although he thinks that he is. I'm going to go with Michael Scott from The Office.
Oh,
he dresses as Santa Claus, and the best one is when Kevin sits on his lap and he can't breathe because he's talking to him. It's my favorite. So I'm gonna go Michael Scott as Santa Claus for my next one.
I impressed that you got an Office in here. But yeah, I almost put that in the intro last week. And all right, so I'm gonna go with also a guy who eventually thinks he's Santa, but in the beginning he hates Santa, and I'm going with Jim Carrey's The Grinch.
Good one.
Oh,
nice,
yeah.
Nice.
I love that. All right, so it's back to you, Drew. Your next one.
So, we have an animation podcast. So I feel like I need at least one more animation thing on my list. But if you listen to our podcast, I always try to find the connections to Kingdom Hearts. And there is a Santa Claus that was both in Kingdom Hearts and in The Nightmare Before Christmas, and that's the one I'm going with, is that Santa Claus.
Nice. Look at the prop. I love it. Way to go. Fantastic.
Off on the floor.
All right, Jacob, we're back to you. Now you get 2 picks here. Okay, so you get a back-to-back. All right. This is the middle of your picks. Next 2 Santas off the list.
Well, the out of the limited range of Santas I picked, I only have one left. Only one.
Make one up.
Okay, I'll try to make one up then. Okay, we'll go there. Okay, so my first one would be Santa from A Christmas Story. a movie that I never saw as a kid. I never saw it whatsoever.
You'll shoot your eye out.
Yeah, exactly. That movie.
Great scene. Great scene. All right. So you're going to have to think off the top of your dome here because you said you only had that one left. So you got one more Santa Claus. Where are you going to go?
That's a good. Here's one. The one that I think is fairly new. It's a movie that people were like, didn't really like it. It wasn't like the original. It wasn't like the Rankin Bass film, but it was the Benedict Cumberbatch. His performance as the Grinch in the Illumination film. Be like, I loved his performance. Be like, there again, kind of like everybody else has said, the Grinch or Jim Carrey's version. He's be like, I'm going to take over Santa's job. And I thought Cumberbatch did an amazing job as the Grinch in that performance.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I will respect that pick. And it is a different Grinch, so it does count, even though Kirk did take one. So good job. Good job. So, Drew, we're to you now. We're to you.
So, like I said, I like bad movies.
Oh, no.
And this is going to Riff Tracks instead of MST3K, which is basically MST3K, but without the robots. And I'm going with the Santa Claus that was stranded on a beach outside of a piece of junk Floridian amusement park in Santa Claus and the Ice Cream Bunny, because good night, that's a trip.
Oh my gosh. I'm looking this one up. This is ridiculous.
It's a horrible film, but there is Santa Claus and good night. That's actually a film I've seen that Riff Tracks live 3 times.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can guarantee you I wasn't going to take that one. So, Kirk, let's go to you.
I'm quite upset that I chose the last one and didn't take the Christmas Story, because that was definitely my next pick. And there's a few out here that I see. Maybe Annie might take one. This is the easiest one out of all of them for me. I'm going with very short portion of the movie. It's not even really in the movie. It's only in the intro of the movie. I'm going with the Santa from Christmas Vacation in the intro.
Nice.
I knew you had
That's my favorite one.
I knew you had to fit that one in there.
That's my favorite movie. So
that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, well, I get my last 2, and you know what's surprising is that none of my Benjamins were taken. I have so many on here that I could pick from, but I'm going to pick these 2. I love this movie. This is one that me and my kids watch all the time. It's a relatively new movie. I don't. Maybe you guys have seen it. I think it's a Netflix original, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm going to go with the movie Noel. Anna Kendrick actually takes over as Santa Claus. It's an interesting, different, unique take. It's got Bill Hader in it, who is reluctant. He's supposed to be Santa. He's Santa's son. Santa dies, right? And then he takes over, but he doesn't want to. Billy Eichner's in it. Like, it's a really funny movie. I definitely go check out Noel. But Anna Kendrick is the specific Santa Claus that I'm thinking. Her name is Noel in that movie. So that's going to be my next Benjamin. And then to round it out, to finish my final Benjamin off my list, it's a very small portion of this movie, but I have to fit this movie back in. Again, I started my list off with Rosie. I'm going to end it here. My last Benjamin is going to be the fake Santa from Elf, who smells like beef and cheese, sits on a throne of lies. I'm going to go right there. That's my last one.
I can't believe you did it twice. You brought that movie in twice. They don't like that movie.
Baby. I love that.
They ain't coming back on our show anymore because they don't like that movie.
Oh, I do like that movie. I said it's one of the few Will Ferrell ones I do.
So here's one, and I'm kind of surprised this wasn't mentioned by our guest, but I don't know. Maybe they don't like this movie. But I am going with Jack Skellington in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
I was waiting to see this one to go. That's a good pick. All right, Drew, your last one coming back to you, and then Jacob, we got one more, so you're gonna have to think of one more too.
So the last one I'm going with is also from a Netflix film from a couple years back. We actually reviewed this our first year on the podcast. A little film known as Klaus.
I thought that's what he meant when he said Claus earlier.
Yeah.
Until he kept talking.
Yeah, this is such a good little. I call it a 2.5D animated film because it's both 2D and 3D. But I mean, it's a nice little animated film, and you do have another kind of unconventional Santa Claus who looks like he could punch somebody if you get him mad. But yeah, I'm going with Claus.
Very good pick. Very good pick. Okay, now, Jacob, to end this thing, Mr. Irrelevant, The Final Santa, which sounds like it would be a pretty cool movie, The Final Santa. That might be cool.
It's the final Santa.
There it is. There it is. You both did it. All right, Jacob, where are you going to go with your final one?
My final pick for today's episode would be Arthur Christmas, a movie I think we've already reviewed.
We did.
Thank you.
It was on a short list.
Yeah, the younger brother who is being passed up, but he's obviously has the skill, and he's the tiny little guy, and he takes the reins when his brother keeps screwing up, and he does a great job for what he's given.
Well, man, we have nailed out some Santa Claus. Hey, look, here's a fun fact. I typed in my chat GPT before the show, and I was going to talk about this at the end. And I was like, list out the top 100 Santas, right? Just whatever. It listed out like to 40. And then it said Santa Claus, the Santa Claus number 5, the Santa Claus number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way to 100. And it said behind it, rumored.
Rumored. I think, what is this? Some kind of
is rumored.
What is this? Some kind of backlot Taiwanese NES card?
I'm like, these guys are on writer strike. They're not. Yeah, there's no way they're doing 100. Yeah, we're glad they're back. But
can you imagine in 30 years, the Santa Claus 100? Tim Allen, AI Tim Allen. Avatar.
It's a double feature with Jaws 33 and a third.
Oh gosh.
Oh, Santa Jaws was one I was going to think of.
That's got to be a Sci-Fi Channel original movie.
Yeah, it's the tornado folks. Santa Jaws. Yeah. Anyways, well, it's been a fun time. Thanks for coming back on the show again, Celcast. Hey, tell our friends, the Summit Squad, how they can find you guys.
Sure thing. Like I said earlier, the Celcast, we review animated movies and television shows. Currently, we are of course, doing Christmas movies. Like Jacob said earlier, we just got done with Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. And then after that, next week, we're reviewing The Star. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and let people know what the next thing we're reviewing after that is. Urkel Saves Santa. And then in these same episodes, at the very end, we started our review of a certain anime that is very dark and depressing. So it's a great thing to put on a Christmas episode. And that is Neon Genesis Evangelion. We are going through that because I've never watched the whole thing. This guy has been bugging me for years to watch it. So, we're reviewing that. And actually, we have no plans for what January looks like yet.
Yeah,
so
we're still working through it.
We'll get that figured out, hopefully, within the next month. But
hopefully you'll find us over there hanging out with you guys sometime in the new year. But where can they find you? Where
you can, if you want to find our old episodes, you can find that at the Celcast.podbean.com or wherever fine podcasts are downloaded from. If you want to catch us live, 6:30 Central, over on either our Twitch channel, the Celcast Gaming, our Facebook page, the Celcast, or our YouTube channel at just Celcast. Sorry, I couldn't think of what it was. Remember, Cell is spelled CEL because you don't want to mistype that, trust me. That's where you can find us at pretty much every Friday of the week, and maybe, just maybe, I might get back to streaming video games during the week.
Woo! Come on now.
Hey, man, it's been a blast, and we have one more episode coming your way for Christmas before our 100th episode, which is hopefully going to be quite a invite from several of our hosts back, and a little compilation. Be sure to drop your comments all at the bottom, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. If you've made it this far, you probably already have done that, but let somebody know, man. We're always putting our content out every Monday, but starting in the new year, we are probably shifting our schedule a little bit to do a little bit more lives and just to give us a little bit of a break to spend time with our families. We are loving what's going on. We are excited about the future. We just surpassed 550 and 60,000 views, which is amazing. So thank you, everybody out there. We totally appreciate it. Andy, how would you like to say goodbye to our friends and tell them that we love them?
Well, it's time to go to bed, because if we don't go to bed, Santa's not going to show up and put any gifts under our tree. And hopefully it's none of the Santas that we mentioned tonight. But
it's not bad Santa. We're good.
Hopefully it's not these guys. But let's say goodnight like we always do. This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top four.
Top four.
And nothing more.
Peace.
Peace.